Some of it is true. A lot of it is exaggerated. And I want to give you my experience. I live here. All right, FP, you live here. You chose to make this your home. And I want to talk about my city, and I'm going to defend my city. And I think we were unfairly criticized at times. But you have some suggestions for how they can make the All-Star game better. What are some of these suggestions?
Oh, I just ran one by Sam that I can't say on air.
Well, that's not good.
No.
I'm teasing.
We can maybe workshop it at the break, and then we'll try.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get it in.
Well, one thing I would say is that I think the Warriors as a whole, when I think about their dynastic run, what makes them so unique is that they did have a lot of enemies. James Harden, LeBron James. Like, they did hate a lot of teams. Memphis Grizzlies. You know what I mean? Like, the Warriors also built up enough, I would say, callous to other teams where they hated them. And that's why the Warriors team gets the ratings that they do. And obviously Steph Curry. But they're a throwback team. Draymond is a throwback enforcer. You know, Steph and Clay, they're soft and this, that, and the other. I think a lot of people hate them, fear them, despise them, and they created a lot of rivalries. They ended the Clippers. They ended the Rockets. They ended OKC. They ended LeBron. Like, there's a lot of what the Warriors have done in the last decade that needs to boil over to the rest of the league.
Splash Bro 3-point contest.
What do you got?
Steph and Clay.
Okay.
And then every team gets 2 guys.
I love that.
And then you
I love that.
Combined score with the 2 guys. Since it's the Splash Brothers, they're the 2 greatest shooters in the history of the NBA. They are a team in the 3-point contest next year.
I like that.
And then you pick, I don't know, Damian Lillard and whoever.
Yeah.
And everybody has 2 representatives.
I like that.
And then you go combined score.
What did you think of Sabrina and Steph Curry? Because
I loved it.
I did too. You know, I got 2 girls in my life, young women in my life, my nieces, who are sports obsessed. They know more about the 49ers than 95% of my guys' friends. They could literally take a ball right now and cross over 75% of the guys here working at this station in soccer or in basketball. Excellent players. And one of the things that has driven me insane is the narrative that girls can't compete with boys at whatever age. And I remember I got a story, FP, you'll love this. I've been coaching forever. My niece, Megan, and Aaron, they went to all my boys' practices for over a decade. And I had this machismo dad. He goes, hey, you know, I'm really worried about the girls. And I go, what do you mean you're worried about the girls? They're going to get hurt against the 7th grade boys. I believe Megan was in like 3rd grade at the time. Aaron might have been in 6th grade. They were younger than the boys. I go, what do you mean they're going to get hurt? The boys are going to get hurt? He goes, no, the girls. I go, I don't know. Maybe you should come to practice and take a look. I go, come to practice, 10 minutes. If you don't like what you're seeing, come and see me. 5 minutes into practice, he comes and goes, oh my God, these boys are going to get so much better playing against these 2 girls. They're the best 2 players they're going to face all year. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of why I have them practicing with the boys so we can run 5-on-5s and they can actually play against some elite talent because that's how good the girls are. So I have a soft spot for when I hear girls get shortchanged, and I loved seeing what Sabrina did. And to me, Steph Curry being the kind of the baton carrier and hander to the girls' game and the women's game, the way that he is, like, that was special. That was really cool, and I was glad that he did that.
That's the only part I liked about the All-Star Weekend. I'm a girl dad, so I used to go to my daughter's soccer games all the time, and she was a beast, dude. Like, she would run over people. And I like women's soccer better than men's because men's flop, and then a helicopter lands, and they take them off on a stretcher, and it's all he did was, like, fall. Women are badasses. So... and they compete, so I love that part. You remember you probably don't remember the Battle of the Sexes with Bobby Riggs and Billie Jean
I've
King?
seen the documentary all on.
Right.
It was out of control.
So I just thought it was cool that, like, Steph competed.
Yes.
Like, he was nervous.
Absolutely.
You could see it in his body language and his face that he had anxiety about this because he wanted to win. He's a winner. And it doesn't matter if it's a girl or a boy. It didn't matter.
Yep.
Because he's the greatest shooter ever. So he had to uphold that legacy and that title in this event, because she made like 5 of her first 6 shots.
She was on fire,
and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be great. So yeah, I guess the All-Star game needs, I don't know, the manufactured things that it seems like nerds come up with in a room on AI with a computer and these things moving across the court, and you got to pass it into
doing too much,
hole, and the guys don't even know which way to run around the barriers, and then it's just is that it's like if you watch reality TV, there's good segments on some shows and there's fillers. That was just a filler.
So,
and the pregame show, Joe, was like, I don't know, 18 hours long. And
it was
like,
ridiculous.
When is the game going to happen?
It was ridiculous.
I understand it's a celebration of the NBA, and I love it.
You know, so like at the end of baseball practice, we always do a game. I don't know what sometimes it's rundowns, right? Sometimes it's guys are all standing at the pitcher's mound, and I'll put the bats on home plate, and you have to go bowling. You get 3 throws, and you got to knock down however many pins, bats upside down. You throw into a trash can. You throw into a bucket from center field. Like, sometimes simple is more fun than overthinking it. And I watched that skills competition. I'm like, you've completely overthought this. What? Me and my 7th grade team in just an empty gym could come up with a better skills competition than whatever the hell this overthought. You brought up nerds, because that's the way I thought. This looks great at a desk. No, that's what, like, this was a great idea on a desk, and then you go out and you implement it, and it's like, what are we doing? Like, what? They were throwing passes that you would never throw in a basketball game. And I'm like, this is clearly something thought of by someone who doesn't play basketball, and it doesn't carry over to the viewing audience.
What would you have liked to have seen that would make you more of an All-Star Weekend and an NBA fan? What would capture Joe Shasky's imagination and get you to go like, oh, that's must-see TV? What should the NBA do, in your opinion, to spice it up a little bit on NBA All-Star Weekend?
Well, so there's a lot of different things. Like, first off, I think we underrate the skill level of the ball handlers. I want to see these guys handle the ball in their offhand and do some sort of, back and forth and speed trials. I want to see defensive shifting. Like, let's get the fastest guys, and I want to see shuffle, 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 and let's see who are the fastest lateral movement guys in general. Like, those are skills to me. Closing out, things like that. There's a variety of ideas that you can come up with. Clearly, the three-point shootout, as simplistic as it is, still holds. Wouldn't you agree? You're grabbing balls from a rack. I mean, it's not that complicated. We're not moving around. We're just hitting shots at a spot. I think the horse game. Bring back horse. When I was growing up, there was a VHS tape of Pistol Pete Maravich going up against Larry Bird. You know how many times I watched that tape? Over and over and over again. I want to see these guys play horse against each other. Why not? Little games like that. And it could be whatever. You know what I mean? But I want to see something with less graphics, less mechanical moving parts. We're overthinking the whole thing. I want to see the simplicity. A 3-on-3 tournament. I'm down with that. Let's do it. Why not?
Yeah. I like all those suggestions. I think you let a bunch of hungry lions on the court in the middle of the three-point contest. Maybe you have some hoops that they have to run through that are on fire, and 1 or 2 players catches on fire. I think this would all be really good for the family to watch. You just have, like, maybe they get attacked by a wild animal in the middle of the three-point. Something to just spice it up. Let, like, 3 or 4 hungry tigers in the middle of the three-point.
FB. Mac McClung.
Alligators maybe on the court.
Mac McClung.
Dribble around alligators.
That probably not going to get... Pedo will be all over that.
Snakes?
No. No snakes on, no planes,
Dribble
no
around cobras?
No.
In the middle of the court?
No.
I'd watch.
Mac McClung isn't even in the NBA. He's in the G League, and he just won the dunk contest. And it's a great story, and I love watching. Mac McClung threw down some sick dunks. Don't get me wrong.
You know what I think about Matt McClung?
What's that?
He must be really bad. Like, he must not have a shot.
Did you watch him with the Warriors?
There's no way a guy... Dude, his face was at the rim.
Know. He flies.
He's got like a 55-inch vertical.
He doesn't pass.
Something's wrong with his game, because that guy, just based on his dunks and his hops alone, you'd think...
But if I told you Giannis, Zion, Kuminga...
I didn't see him play at the Warriors.
Yeah, he was a... Trust me.
He's not good.
He's just not a good player. But if you told me Zion, LeBron, Giannis, and LeBron, the time has passed. But those guys, John Morant, if those guys were in the dunk contest, we're all watching.
John Morant would be sick.
Right? We're all watching. Back in the day, it was Jay Rich and Vince Carter. I mean, we're talking about 2 of the most... compelling players on their particular conferences when it comes to leaping abilities, and good players. I mean, these were good players. So if you're not going to get buy-in from the stars, why are the common fans going to buy in? And I'm praying that next year when we have it at Chase Center, we get Zion in there, we get John Morant in there, we get some of these young ascending players to actually want to compete.
Yeah, I'd watch. I mean, I just like reiterating. If you don't care, then I don't care. And it seemed like they gave 0 Fs about playing that game yesterday. You know what's cool about pods, dude? Pajemski? Like, he had quotes in the paper after the Rising Stars game about,
Friday
like,
night.
he cared.
Yes.
And nobody else did. And we got to get these guys to care. And he said the G League players, you know, they're playing on a big stage and they want to get noticed. But the guys that already were in the league, and he didn't mention any names. I love this guy, dude, by the way. He's my favorite Warrior.
Because he cares.
He plays hard.
Yes.
He plays hard.
Look at what the bare minimum is. He plays hard.
He plays hard.
But that's, to me, that's a microcosm of the NBA issue. They have an issue. They have a bunch of guys that don't want to play hard.
If you saw Podziemski in a pickup game on the All-Star break, he would play hard. It's getting back to your initial point about competing.
Yes.
That guy competes.
Yes.
And he realized that, hey, I'm on a big stage. This is an honor, and I'm going to play hard. Did his line look good? Nobody's diving for balls.
No.
He's all over the place, just like he does with the Dubs. And he was upset after the game that there was a lack of interest.
I loved it.
And I loved it. It makes me love that guy. He just went up another notch, if there's such a thing for me.
Totally agree. You're